Welcome everybody back to we're an hour like 21 and a half or something like that at this point on the live stream. This is our final pre-recorded segment. Hopefully we've been gaining subscribers and doing everything right this whole time. If you're not subscribed yet, what the heck are you doing? Monica Kubina is here to talk to us, or with us rather, about Batman: The Adventures Continue, and a handful of other things. She is the colorist on this new comic, along with DC Superhero Girls. We just Googled you right before this, too. You're on Star Wars Adventures. You did a handful of X-Men comics. I'm sure there's others that we missed. Really great stuff so far. Obviously, we were just talking before starting the recording here about how we're constantly, picking on you and Ty throughout this whole series, but we're glad to hear that you are taking it in stride and that everything is okay with us. So yeah, welcome. Thank you for being on here with us.
Thank you for having me, and congratulations on 5 years.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
We were just talking with Maddie about how it doesn't even feel like it's been that long, because it was only maybe 2.5 years ago that we really started picking up the pace and doing like a video every other week, every week, whatever. Everything before that was just kind of like once a month, maybe tops kind of a thing. But
I remember at the start, like before I was on the channel, like I would be sitting there waiting. I'd be like, okay, when's the next Watchtower Database video coming?
It's been like 60 days. Yeah.
I would constantly go back to the homepage and be like, all right, where is it? When's it coming?
But thanks to The Adventures Continue, we've had regular every other week content to pump out. Honestly, when this comic is over and it's only got a couple more chapters, we're going to have to, nose to the grindstone to actually figure out like what the heck are we going to do videos on now. So it's been great. It's been a lot of fun reading. And of course, I compliment your coloring every single video that we do for the issues. I don't know how it gets better every time, but it somehow does. Maybe you have more time per issue or something like that. But...
Oh my gosh. The last one, I think I did in about 4 days.
Jesus. Yeah,
I was arthritis yet from the...
Yet.
We were seeing like Ty and Mark like posting like, I'm doing inks, I'm doing pencils, and then all of a sudden the comic's here and I'm like, wait a second, these are the pages they were just posting like 3 days ago. What's going on?
I literally was like down to, I think it was 15 minutes before the cutoff time. My editor was like, okay, you have until, I think it was 3 o'clock to get the pages in. And I was like, I still have 2 pages to do. And so I don't know how I did it, but I did it and it was done. And I'm just so thankful. Yeah.
That's got to be the most stressful part of this, right? Because like you're like, I guess other than like the lettering, like you would be like the last person. And so it's got to pass through all these other hands before it gets to you. And then you're just like, oh crud, I've only got the amount of time left that, is dealt to you.
They have the in-house people who kind of put everything together and send everything off. So yeah, I guess, I don't know, they need like an hour or so after I'm done to send everything off. So it's always like, okay, I guess it's not going out this time. And I don't want it to not ever go out on time. So I'll just stay up for days and just keep working until it's done.
Any ideas?
Well, I've appreciated our discourse throughout this whole thing of, over every issue. I feel like you and I get a little more friendly in terms of like, oh, James, by the way, this was because you called me out on the thing, but in not a like, that piece of crap, James, he called me out on the thing. It's like,
you say,
oh, I'm sorry. I was like, why is it supposed to be? Is it not?
Yeah. Right. We wanted to know how you got involved with The Adventures Continue. I know, the whole team besides you are people that are directly from the animated series, worked on these back in 1992, 93. And, not that you have nothing to your name or anything like that, but how did you get involved with this specific team of people?
I think it's just good karma.
Okay.
I don't think that it's, I don't know how I got involved. I just got an email from our editor and Andrew, and he told me about the project and he asked me if I'm interested in coloring it. And he sent me 3 sample pages. He sent me the first page, the 3rd page, and the 7th page. And I was just blown away because it's my favorite series of all time. So it just was, I immediately wrote him back and said, of course, I'll color them.
Yeah, like, oh my God, how could
Yeah,
I
I mean,
not?
who would pass that opportunity
Yeah.
up?
Yep.
I mean, I don't think there's anywhere to go past here. I mean, it's it's just the ultimate. I can't really see, there's no other project that I would think is better than this.
Well, I guess you can just thank, DC Direct or whatever, whoever's responsible for the action figures.
I can thank Marie Javins. She's the one who recommended me. And
Okay.
she's a longtime friend that I've known since we worked on Marvel Comics together. We worked on Gen X together and Uncanny X-Men.
Okay.
So, I've known her for a long time.
So we talked a little bit already about, when you get the pages, it's your last minute or whatever else is going on to get this in on time. Is there a process that you go through of, you already know which characters are going to be in the comic and stuff like that? Do you look at, you look up screenshots and that sort of thing? Or is it all just suddenly like, okay, it's going to have Slade and Mad Hatter and all these people, and oh my God.
No, I get the script months in advance. So
Okay.
I get to read it and, just kind of think about it and think about the look that I want for it.
Yeah.
And then so I'll start to gather around some stuff. And for each book, I'll just kind of pull all my references together. And, I watch the series while I color a lot of times. And I can't really sample colors off the series because it's so dark and it's so saturated. So I'll just kind of look at the feel of it and kind of go off of that. And I use some realism too. I'll look at, actual photos of amusement parks or abandoned amusement parks, what have you. And so
in the last issue, I really like this most recent one that we haven't been able to do a video on yet because we're doing this live stream. I really enjoyed it's a small thing, but the boots, the giant boots in the, they're like, oh, this looks so good in 3D and everything. So it's just a weird little
I
thing.
think I'm a little more textured.
Yeah.
So sometimes Andrew will ask me to pull back a bit because I try to, because originally he told me to just go very cel shaded, very flat with a little minimal rendering. And so there are times where I rendered a little more and he's like, can you pull back a little?
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of textured the boots because they were so huge and took up quite a bit. You don't want it to be so flat. So that was fun, and they're pretty quick to do. Those are some of the pages that I did in about an hour a page. Yeah,
I can imagine. I mean, Ted and I have our own web comic. I think I sent you the link a while ago. That every time that we're working on one of those, it's kind of like what you're talking about the last minute. Obviously, we don't have the official mandated deadlines or whatever, but we have our own. Okay, we're going to tell everyone that the issue is coming out this day, so we have to have it done by that day. And I totally feel you on, especially I think the first issue we ever put out for it
came down to the wire once.
Yeah, I was like screaming at Ted because he's 3 hours ahead of me and he'd already gone to sleep. And I'm like, you can't be asleep. we need to finish this right now. There's no way. And he's like, so I get it. It's not fun, but it's so worth, the final product.
I do the occasional lettering projects, and I know that sometimes I move ahead with a page before I even see the colors, because you can kind of still start that process without actually seeing, as long as it's not modified to be any different length.
Yeah, that's basically what happens with, sometimes the pages, I'll send a couple in, and then the rest, like 6 or 7 pages will come in like on the last day. So it's really tough. I mean, the letterer has to go and do everything ahead of time, and they just kind of slap them together last minute.
It's always kind of fun for us to try to unravel the puzzle of like what's going on behind the scenes with this new comic, because it's just always like, okay, we can tell from, this person posted this Instagram post and then it was 2 days later that this thing, and then Monica said this, what did she mean by that? And just all this stuff to where we're like, it's fun, but it's also, it's almost too like deep of a look that we've ever had into one of these things where, we're mildly responsible for a handful of the like fixes to some of the stuff where it's like bizarre. They're like, oh, he probably changed the Mad Hatter because we mentioned that it was the wrong Mad Hatter and stuff like that. But we have no way of knowing, and we never will. Yeah, it's really fun. And Ted, did you want to ask this corrections question that you've highlighted here?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of what's been fun is seeing some of the issues on, I've been reading on comiXology.com, but I'll get a notification that there's an update. So you'll update the issue and then see what's been changed. And
we'll be like, what is different? What's different?
I mean, the biggest change has obviously been Jason Todd's hair in the first chapter, which blew all of our minds. That was that was like one of the highlights I look back at.
I'll never live that one down.
Well, I was actually going to say, if anyone watching this has been sending hate mail to Monica, like, knock it off. There's no we're making
it's hair.
fun jabs. We don't actually hate any of this stuff.
I feel like for the most part, our audience understands that we make jabs, but there's certainly a time or two where like some people are like, no, you're right, we should be angry. And I'm just like,
why isn't the sky red? It doesn't actually matter. It's fine.
I just think it's cool that it got changed at all. I mean, that's like such a fun like thing about that chapter.
I didn't have to change it, and so it's every time I made changes, it was always me. It was like if something's wrong, what do you guys say? Corrections, something speed run.
Yeah. Stuff we messed up last time.
Speed run, you know. So I just kind of go back. And sometimes I do these so quickly and I send them in that I don't have time to really examine as well. So then I'll notice stuff afterwards. But the legs on Robin, I have no idea why I changed that. I must have been half of the papers. I don't even remember doing that.
You turned off a layer or something. Well, that's funny then, because I almost asked you as soon as you sent that picture, because I didn't see it until I was already editing or like writing the script for the video. And I was like, oh, was that a purposeful change too? But I didn't want to mess up the joke of me just screaming about it. So I just left it in there because I didn't want you to tell me what it actually was, but that's pretty funny.
Yeah. Some of the nasty comments, they weren't sent to me. They were just, I'd read stuff online and I was like, okay, you know what? I should probably stop reading. So unless I'm typing something, I won't read it at all. I don't want to know.
That's a good policy.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, they say the first rule, at least for YouTube, is to not read the comments. And
we read us, like every comment.
Yeah, with us, it's like we've all, you know, been raised in the internet. We've got our trolling past, so like we can handle it. It's blah 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 blah. But like
we have a pretty nice comment section too.
Yeah,
it's pretty
very rare. Yeah.
For the most part,
yeah. Yeah, for the most part.
For the most part.
Really
but like I can't. I feel like there's a different level of like hate comments you would get if you're like doing something that's put out to a wider scale, like, you know, a project for DC. Mm-hmm. Like at that point I'd be like, okay, yeah, let me not read the comments. This isn't the audience that I've curated. This is an audience DC has curated, and they, you know, go to a bunch of different audiences. So I don't know if these people are going to be nice to me or not. I'm just not looking.
Fair enough. I want to know, Monica, about the like when you do the corrections for an issue, is there like a cutoff point where they're like, hey, like whatever you've done now, this has to go to print? So about how long do you have like of a window before digital and print?
So for digital, for instance, I have to have everything in by 3 o'clock. And so 3 o'clock.
Is that like the day?
That day. Okay. Yeah, that day. And then at midnight, I guess it's midnight, it goes up. I've never even looked at that comic.
It's midnight
most times, except for recently.
Okay. Yeah, so that's it. It's pretty much, nice. You know, my editor will say, if you don't have it in by 3 o'clock, it's not going out tonight. And so yeah, I'll stay up for 3 days if I have to, and just take naps and just get the stuff out.
Well, and we were like 2 chapters ahead, you know, by the time that you had sent me I redid the Batman colors, or the Batsuit colors. Is that like about as much time you have, because the physical issues come out like months after the digital ones? is that about as much time as you have? You have until 3 o'clock the day the physical issue comes.
Oh no, no, I don't. I usually don't wait that long. Sometimes I wait too long, and then I'll say, "Oh wait, I noticed something. Can I send in?"
I'll
And
be
he's
like,
like,
nope.
"No, it's already gone out." And it's like, "All right, I guess I'll have to live with it." I remember, I think it was in the first issue. There was like a glove, or it was like Lex's glove, or something.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Ah."
Yeah, I think that was one that I pointed out. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I probably would have never seen it.
That's something that like was bewildering to us with that first issue. Was like when we saw the update of his hair, we were sitting there like, are there going to be print issues with the red hair and print issues with the white hair? Like, are there going to be misprints for us to collect? Like,
but it was all white hair. It was all white hair in the actual printed issue.
Yeah, it's because I saw the toys after when we initially started, we were way ahead. And so as it went on, I was working on a graphic novel, I think at the time, when I got the project. And if I would have known, I wouldn't have taken it. But so my time was really shortened, even just from the get-go. And it's just like every issue, it was like, okay, I promised this person I'd color this, and I promised that person. So I kind of tried to squeeze everything in. Yeah. And so, yeah, that's why it's, yeah.
So you've posted a handful of your pre-lettering panels on social media. Yeah. What's been your favorite page to color or panel to color from this comic so far? You had to pick one.
Yeah. Oh, I absolutely love the one with the theater.
Okay.
I think it's the first page of the second
with
book.
Clayface and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that one, and I love Clayface in general. So just the pages with Clayface and the theater. I just think it has a more noir kind of look to it, more Art Deco. So.
Now, do you consider Clayface melted ice cream or refried beans? Because you know the right answer.
He's obviously Clay, James.
Oh, sorry, my bad. He's renewed you.
A lot more face than you would think.
Are there any Easter eggs that you've personally thrown in? I know we talked about you had mentioned that there's the Batman slap orange background meme.
No.
I know that you don't get a lot of chances to do that kind of stuff, but has there been anything that you've been like, oh, this would be a perfect moment to blah, blah, blah?
I can't remember. I don't.
Because I know you purposely colored the yellow bat suit for me last issue.
Actually, you know what? My flatters did that. I was like, and it's funny because I kept thinking, wouldn't it be funny? Because I kept thinking of you, and I was thinking, wouldn't it be funny if I left this? And I kept going back and forth and doing all these. That's one of the last minute things that I sent in, last minute pages. And so I kept going back and forth and saying like, oh, it'd be funny if I left this. And I ended up leaving it. And,
it was great.
I'll have to send that in.
Now all these people are tagging us on Twitter going like, it's officially canon, like you can't, it's no longer a joke. There actually is a yellow bat suit. So.
It's Batgirl, just stretched over.
I like that actually. It's
on the wrong mannequin.
Yeah. Oops, I didn't mean to.
With the amount of new suits we've gotten in this, it makes as much sense as anything.
I love the suit cages though. It's like seeing them change every chapter. It's been a lot of fun.
That's another one of my favorite things to color. I love coloring the glass displays. And but yeah, I always have this, I always have you guys in mind while I'm coloring.
Well, that makes us feel good and bad.
Well, like Bruce Timmons did such a good job with the new Batman Adventures style of like Batman, Robin, Batgirl, Nightwing, all the sidekicks with the primary colors for their uniforms. Like it's so just sleek. So that it works really well.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you had any input at all on any of the colors of new suits that we've seen in the show or in the comic. Like Batgirl has the blue glove version now. There's the Jason costume, all that kind of stuff. Does anyone tell? I mean, you're talking about Jason's hair. You hadn't seen the figure yet and stuff. So nobody's really telling you do this. You just get to do it.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool because Alan Burnett, Ty Templeton, Paul Dini, nobody said anything about it. And they've been really kind about letting me do my own thing. So it's, yeah, I mean, there've been a few things here and there where, you know, they'll say, okay, can you use Batgirl's costume from such and such? And so I'll just look up the episode and I'll find it and I'll use those colors. But they don't, I vary the colors. I never, even for characters that have the same costume throughout the book, I never use just the same colors. I'll vary it depending on.
You're never like color picking that exact same gray.
I really don't like that. I think it looks boring and it's just very repetitive. And so it makes it a little more interesting when you have them varied a little bit. And I don't think your eye really catches it too much.
So it's a lot of, oh, go ahead, go Ted.
I was just gonna say, like, scenes with fire. There's been so many chapters with fire in the background, and that gives them those orange highlights. That's a lot of fun. So.
I stole some of those colors, or at least the look of it, from one of my favorite episodes, which is Beware the Gray Ghost.
Such a good one. Such a good one.
All the orange highlights from the explosions and stuff.
I really love the oranges in that. So I just, you know, again, I couldn't directly take colors off of it because it's so saturated and dark, but I kind of, you know, had the feel of it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
No, that's awesome. It's always cool to hear from people working on these comics, you know, what they're pulling from and what they've chosen to, like, I don't know, come up with originally. It's always different per person, but nothing's ever like the incorrect, you know, way to do it. So that's always really cool.
What I'm taking away from this is that the amount of guidance that she didn't get from them, like telling her what to do, telling you what to do. I don't know why I'm speaking about you in what third person, whatever it is that Mr. Wing could have ended up being purple and green instead of white and blue.
Mr. Wing did come with directions.
Oh, interesting.
That's the most thought about.
That makes me wonder if they have plans for Mr. Wing down.
Did he come with a backstory?
He'll be in the finale.
I know what Mr. Wing is, but I cannot tell you guys because.
Oh.
Yeah, because it's.
Is he Hush? Is he Hush?
You know, everybody's trying to guess, is he a man? Is he a bird? What is he?
He's a plane. He's the Lex plane.
Yeah. Well, does that, I mean, I know you probably can't say, but does that mean we'll see him again? Or is that you just got official information from...
I don't know.
Okay.
I'll tell you what. If anything happens in our inboxes, we'll keep it hush.
He needs a spin-off series.
It'll be wrapped under bandages, just like Hush.
Yes.
So yeah, they sent me, or they gave me the animal they would like him to look like, and so.
Sam the Eagle from the Muppets, right?
Close. Very close. Very close.
I think my next, middle of the night random meme style upload for the channel is going to be Mr. Wing's head on the Bernie Sanders bird that lands on his podium. I'm gonna work that in there somewhere.
we should make a Mr. Wing fan cam.
Yeah, he's definitely the highlight of the comic. Everything else, no.
And if I would have known he's going to be so popular, I would have spent more time doing the selections. I just did like really.
Oh no, he's perfect.
Yeah,
he's perfect as he is.
Just the way
every way.
It works better when you just don't overthink it and you just do it.
Sometimes the simplest answer,
So hold on. She's got info on Mr. Wing. So I think it's only fair that we ask, is there a Mrs. Wing?
Oh.
Not that I know of.
Can we be Mrs. Wing? The spot is available, I suppose.
I'll make it work.
Yeah. So we have to wrap up, unfortunately. But I do want to ask, do you have anything else coming up after the adventures continue that you can tell us about that you're working on or prepping for or anything like that?
I do have something lined up, but I can't talk about it.
Nobody can ever tell us. Yeah. We ask this question like every time. Everyone's like, well, there's 6 things. I can't say what they are. I don't know why we ever asked this. But
Well, do you have anything else currently? You said you were working on a graphic novel.
Oh yeah, that was before, and I'm done with all graphic novels.
Well, promote yourself. What is the graphic novel?
Where can we find you?
Let's send the fans your way.
It was actually it was for Zucker Press, and they're books for their YA books to help kids deal with different issues. So they tackle really, really difficult topics like teen suicide and school shootings. And I didn't want to do it because they're just so hard to work on. I would read the script and I just start bawling, and I was like, how am I going to color this? So I was like, okay, I don't want to do it.
You did it.
I can't imagine, like, basically being handed a coloring book on these tough issues, and you're just like,
so but I felt like I needed to give back and do something positive that's going to help someone. So in that way, that's why I did it. And then after that, I helped out another friend on another book, Scott Koblish. I don't know, you guys might know him.
The name sounds familiar.
So I helped him out on a book, on a kid's dinosaur book. So I don't know when these things are coming out. So,
So be on the lookout, everyone, in the Twitch chat.
Mr. Wing has helped us get through some tough times, so anything that you're working on is on the same realm, I think.
I just love making all the Mr. Wing memes.
It's good.
He's so much fun.
Well,
thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks so much. I hope that we can do this again in a bit longer form, where we can ask some nerdier questions and get some fan feedback and stuff like that.
Maybe when Batman: The Adventures Continue #2 comes
volume
out, the
2.
sequel.
Like why it's Gotham City skies red? Why is that like a pollution thing, or I don't know.
You got the orange skies there in California, and now we got red skies in Gotham City.
Yeah, well, if everybody goes out and buys the entire series, maybe we'll make more.
Well, we've been buying every variant possible so far, so hopefully that's at least bumping the numbers a little bit. It's like these same three guys keep buying. Maddie's been buying literally all the variants.
The inevitable graphic novel.
Yep. Well, final question for you. We're trying this whole live stream. We're hoping to up our subscriber count significantly. We're doing a bunch of giveaways. Selfish final. I keep doing that. Final question for you: why should people subscribe to the Watchtower Database?
You guys are awesome.
You
have so much great content. You guys are so knowledgeable. And if anybody wants to find out anything, they can just tune in. They don't need to look anywhere else.
There's people that comment and say, like, what is all this gibberish? Just read the comic. I don't care. Like, well,
you have to read the comic first.
Yeah, exactly.
The companion piece.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, even though I made you say it, thanks for the kind words. And I hope everyone watching has enjoyed everything so far. We've got a couple panels left. Stay tuned for more pre-recorded me telling you what's coming up next. And thank you again, Monica. We'll talk to you soon.
I think there's even a secret panel.
There is a secret panel. Shh.
Bye.
Bye.